Hey, greetings. This is Jim at don'tperish.com, John 4:24 radio. Hey, bringing you an unbiblical teachers testing today. Eternal Evangelism, Jimmy Miller. Yeah, we found out about this. Someone actually contacted us and asked us about this ministry, so we started looking into them and biblically testing them. We actually spoke to Jimmy Miller. He called me on the phone and was not interested in talking the truth of God's word with us, so that was rather troubling. And we're going to be doing a complete biblical testing on Jimmy Miller. The link will be below at the end of this video. Jimmy has an unbiblical gospel. He believes in the ransom theory. He denies the blood atonement of Christ's work. But for this video, what I want to talk about is replacement theology. Yeah, Jimmy Miller teaches replacement theology. I did a little bit of research. And replacement theology says God is done with Israel. He has no plans or future actions towards Israel or the Jewish people. And over the centuries, actually this theology came about in the 2nd and 3rd centuries and has lived on. If we look at the 2nd and 3rd century, we see the early church fathers had an anti-Jewish stance and teachings. If we look at the pagan Roman Catholic system, they had an anti-Jewish stance, replacement theology. If you look at the hateful, murderous Martin Luther, father of the Reformation, he had a hateful stance against the Jewish people. So oftentimes people with replacement theology get accused of being against the Jews. And you know what? That often stands up as true. And let me show you why. Right on Jimmy's own website, here's an article called The Truth About Zionism. Jimmy has placed a video of Miko Peliad, I think that's how you say that. And I want to share with you what he says, and then let's talk about it.
This is a double standard of immense proportions. The other thing BB talked about right off as he started was about King David, who reigned some 3,000 years ago, and here we are today as his descendants. What's interesting is, besides the fact that there is no historical evidence that King David ever existed, outside the Bible, which of course is not a historical document.
Okay, so if you heard that, this man who is a Jew, but he's anti-Israeli, some say anti-Semitic, he talks about how King David, there's no historical evidence in the Bible, just because the Bible talks about him. The Bible's not a history book. If you go on in this video, which I watched the whole thing, it's an hour long, he is totally against Israel. He promotes the Palestinian people, even to the point of defending Hamas and the terrorists that blow themselves up and kill people. And I did a little research on this Miko, and he actually calls the nation of Israel equal to Nazis. Now, why is this important? Well, if you go back to Eternal Evangelism, Jimmy Miller claims to be a teacher of God's holy word. You just heard a video on his own website of a man challenging the veracity of God's word, saying that something God's word said, that King David had a kingdom and ruled, isn't true, calling the Jewish nation Nazis. This is why people believe that replacement theology is anti-Semitic when you have this type of thing going on. And this is all under the guise of biblical Christianity. No, it is not so. Replacement theology is a lie, and we're here to expose it. We'll be doing a complete biblical testing of Jimmy Miller, Eternal Evangelism. I hope that's evidence for you. There's something concerning here, challenging the veracity of God's inerrant word. That's troubling. So we need to call it out. We're also going to call out his false gospel, and he has some other false associations as well. It'll be on the link below. Go to don'tperish.com. Go to our Unbiblical Teachers blog. That's where the testing of Jimmy will be. You'll find the link at the bottom of this video. Go to John 4:24 radio. Hundreds of audios to help you in the true faith. Go to our Spirit and Truth teaching blog. Hundreds of articles to help you in the true faith. We do 3 things. We teach the biblical gospel, we teach the true New Testament body life, and we expose all the false ways of man, like false gospels and this ill anti-Semitic, anti-Israel replacement theology. So check out our resources. Let us know how we can help you. Till next time, have a glorious day. May God be praised.